Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Olympia Soiree, and we are just continuing Himuka's route. All the mysteries and things are happening, and we're off with Asawa to go look for this dude that's missing. Good boy, good birdie. And we're about halfway through, because I went into Himuka's, section in the archives just to see how many, and we're in the middle chapter, so about halfway through his route, I would say. So anyway, just figured I would share that. As I set off with Asawa, I heard whispering voices around us. You don't think Kango ran up to the surface, do you? Why would he? He's a pretty mild guy. I doubt he has it in him to do a thing like that. I hope it's just that he's collapsed from hunger or something. Collapsed from hunger? Just like Kaina. The memory of meeting Kaina for the first time made me feel a bit more relaxed when... Oh no, he's dead, isn't he? Oh! Fucking Akaza, I love you. You too. Have you seen a young man with a limp around this area? You mean Kango? We just started searching for him. Oh, and I don't have any letters for you yet. Is that so? My assistant's prepared to review your letters there in any case. Seeing the Kotowari director and deputy director down here didn't bode well. I didn't think you'd be searching for him too, Akaza. Is there a problem? No, at least nothing we can confirm yet. It's just been reported that he's gone missing, and he's definitely not the type to get into trouble. So we figured maybe he got caught up with the wrong bunch or something. In that case, I wonder if the military could help as well. Good luck with that. Those guys couldn't care less if one person in Yomi goes missing. Unfortunately, he's right. I have others from the Kotowari assisting in our search, but your participation would be greatly appreciated. Of course, we'll find him for sure. I know, Asawa, do you remember what he was wearing? I'm pretty sure he was wearing a striped shirt yesterday. Oh, and gray pants, too. Nice, good job. Well, we'll start from that end. We'll meet up later. I sure hope Kango's alright. He's really nice, and he even shares food with me, too. I hope he's not hurt or anything. Let's get going, then. If he's hurt, we'll need to help him out quickly. You're right. I shouldn't waste time thinking about the worst. You know, he's probably gonna end up dead, though. Because that's how this route's going. Everybody's fucking dead. As we turned into the alleyway, I saw something on the ground. Asawa, is that shirt... it looks like the one Kango had on him. Really? Wait here. I'll go get Kuroba and Akaza. Why would his shirt be here like this? I looked carefully at the shirt, noticing a pair of pants lying haphazardly nearby. We just get naked and, run away? He changed his clothes? But where would he go? Oh, God, is he a pile of show? But wouldn't your clothes go with you? Don't tell me he jumped in. He's in there and he's just lounging. He's like, what? It was hot. I got naked and jumped in. I carefully made my way to the canal to check, but I didn't see anyone in there. Sorry. Hey, you found a shirt? Where? Kuroba, in front of you. Whoa! They stopped and looked in front of them with scrutinizing gazes. This is Kango's shirt, I'm sure of it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I recognize it too, but why the hell would he take it off here? Kuroba crouched down to pick up the shirt. I don't smell any blood, and it's not dirty. Well, there's no signs of foul play. Perhaps he took it off voluntarily? Akaza's like, why would you take off your damn clothes? You gotta take a bath sometime. Why would you... It's really more like, why the fuck would he take off his clothes in the middle of an alley? What the hell is happening? We looked at each other. He got drunk. He got high and he just started stripping and he's just wandering around drunk and naked. But it's not like he's the type to just strip off his clothes like that. Even if he did have a reason, well, I presume he has the sense to not return home in that state. I mean, what, naked? Better than hanging out in the middle of the alley. Just wandering around naked in public. Yeah. We looked at each other again. Let me take this back with me. I'll check to see if there's anything on it that'll tell us more. And then we'll be continuing our search, although this situation is highly suspicious. I mean, aren't you, like... It's like understatement. Oh, Akaza, there you are. The air grew tense as Riku ran up to us in a panic. What is it? Don't tell me the military's picked up something. Picked up something? So then, there's been an incident on your side too? A man named Kango's gone missing. Only just recovered his clothes here. In Yomi too? What do you mean in Yomi too? The military's issued an arrest warrant for Himuka under suspicion of murder. Huh? There's a possibility that he killed a man named Kiura of the Blue. Kiura? Isn't that... According to the reports, it seems that Kiura was involved in an altercation with Himuka. Of course they're gonna arrest Himuka, because, like... So, like... And now this guy... Maybe it's Hayeri. You know, it's monstrous folks like you are making our sun fade. That rude person from before. I'd be like, wait, that fucker? He kind of deserved it. Afterward, a witness reported someone matching Himuka's description speaking with Kiura at Sundial Plaza. Well, just because someone said it doesn't prove anything. Riku made an obvious frown and sighed in an irritated manner. Kiura's clothes were found near the Blue District. Huh? Wait. We suspect he may have been killed using Batsu. I only just remembered that Asua was still with us. He didn't need to know all this. He has the power to transform people into show in an instant. I doubt very many are capable of doing that. Not only that, it seems that Himuka has a history of threatening others with his power. I mean, that's not untrue. Yeah. Say anything more and I'll turn you into a show. He must be referring to that. I mean, that's also, he said that multiple times the first time. Wait, this is all a misunderstanding. Himuka was only trying to save me at the plaza. Olympia, have you already forgotten what happened? Not long ago I had to point my blade at him for the same reason. Ah, that's true, Riku was there at that time. When we first met him. You were the one who started this, weren't you? It's no use. Everything's working against Himuka right now. Well, I believe in him. He'd never abuse his power. I don't recall that at all. That's an obvious lie. So he'd never abuse his power is the, yeah. I don't recall that at all. He would never abuse his power. Your compassion is unnecessary. It's true that with the current evidence, Himuka may be the prime suspect for now. But I'll find the person who's actually responsible. As long as I can prove that Himuka isn't involved, you'll accept the evidence, won't you? Akaza, can you get his records? For some reason, the military seems to have no records on him. Surely the Kotowari would... Kuroba quickly looked at me. His expression was uncharacteristically uneasy. Look, I'm not trying to say he's behind the murders, but... Kuroba, what is it? Don't keep us in suspense. Himuka doesn't have a family register. Huh? Riku, you know as well as I do that every person born on this island must be registered to a color class. No exceptions. That's because Himuka wasn't born on this island. Even Lord Doma and the other outsiders have a family register. Okay, well that's where you were going with that. I'm like, well, I mean, they do get adopted into a family. But there's no one under the name Himuka. Wait, that's because he's Lord Hiroko. I told you! That would, I mean, I'm not saying that that's actually what's happening, but that it makes me, like, that ups my suspicion level of it right there. And given his job, I thought he was using an alias, but after checking on it, I couldn't find anyone around his age that matched his description. Well, because nobody's seen Lord Hiroko, so just saying. Since Yomi doesn't have a resident doctor, new registrations are often delayed to some extent, but at his age, Kuroba, how do you know all this? Sorry, I kind of got into your business. Remember how he said he couldn't be your mating partner? I figured I could provide a consultation if it was a medical issue, but there weren't any records at the hospital, so I checked the family registers. Oh. Like, look at that! Fucking Kuroba wingmanning us. Our boys are so good. Akaza and Riku were standing there in silence. To be honest, I do have my suspicions. Kuroba! If these guys just up and vanished, only a select few have the power to make that happen. We've shared a meal together and talked a few times. I doubt he's the type to want to draw attention. Draw attention? If I were the murderer, I'd not have left their clothes behind. And if what happened on the surface is related, I would not have left evidence a second time. Well, now we know if we find evidence that someone was murdered and their clothes are gone, we should worry that Akaza's the murderer. They're like, what do you know about murdering people? Well, I do it all the fucking time. Oh, I kill people all the fucking time, but you never see their bodies, do ya? You know all those people who mysteriously vanish somehow off the island? They fucking push them off. Akaza's just a fucking serial killer. Right? With this Kira business, it's like someone's trying to lead us to suspect Himuka. Oh, Kuroba, thank you. Because, you know, suspecting Himuka wasn't friendly. But I appreciate you being honest, and then also being like, I don't think it's him. So they want Himuka to be arrested? Riku of the Blue, you're a gifted Batsu user, right? Which means that there's a chance that you're behind all this. Whoa! Don't suspect our other boyfriends. This is no time for jokes. I've already sworn never to use Batsu on the living. If the sole reason he's being suspected is because of Batsu, then you'd fit the bill too. Unless you can prove your innocence, you're also a suspect. So am I, then! Shh. Himuka lives at Corpse Beach. Would I be betraying him if I told them where he lives? No. Riku, Himuka lives on the beach to the north. What? A place like that? I'm not telling you because I suspect him of all this. I'm giving you this information because I know he didn't do anything. Corpse Beach. Riku, let's head to the military headquarters first. I'll speak with them so we can nullify the arrest warrant. But I understand that he's still a suspect, but at present, we have insufficient evidence to prove he's the perpetrator. This is why I like Akaza. He's fucking smart and he's got everybody's back. He's out for justice! Thank you! Justice really is blind. That's why he wears glasses. He can't see very well. I wonder if they thought about that when they were like, he's the one who fights for justice. Let's put glasses on him because justice is blind, you know? So, like, if you take his glasses off, he can't see. He's like, well, but I can't see without my glasses! He doesn't always wear them, though, but in some of the CGs we've seen, I mean, you can barely tell he's wearing glasses, okay? It's, like, barely noticeable. So, like, but I just wonder if they did that on purpose or if that was just accidental. It's kind of funny now that you know, right? I didn't think about it before. Understood. Let's go. Akaza looked at Asuka, who stood in a stunned silence, and gently patted him on the head. Look at him smiling! So cute. You must be Kuroba's younger brother, Asuka. I'm sorry about all that. We'll work hard to restore safety in Yomi, so you just make sure to stay safe as well. And don't tell anyone aside from Yusuga what you just heard here. Can you promise me that? Understood. I promise. Why can I tell Yusuga? Asuka, you should go now tell Yusuga. And no one's to wander out alone for the time being. Leave it to me. I'll go right now. Oh, is that alright if I look for Himuka too? I assumed you would. But please be careful. We haven't established yet that Himuka's not the culprit. I don't think he'd kill me, and it's okay if he did. I'll be going then. I bowed and quickly ran off. Off to Corpse Beach to warn him! He's not here. Maybe he's working, or maybe he's at Corpse Beach. Hey. Sales were bad today. Buy some Sugiura. Punch him in the face. I'll take one. Thank you. And that tremor, it occurred just as the child yelled. I'm certain he's connected to Izanami. And maybe, Kyura hurt him, so then he died, and he kept telling people to die. So maybe that other guy, maybe Kango, pissed him off for some reason. You know what I'm saying? If what Himuka said is true... By the way, have you seen Himuka? Like, I know. He could be lying dead someplace for all I care. Don't say that! Just thinking about how good he is pisses me off. The paper in the cookies says I won. Congrats, here's one more. Huh? That many? I told you no one bought any today, so you're gonna help me get rid of them. I guess I can share them with Himuka and Daifuku. I put the handful of Sugiura in my bag. Unable to hold myself back, I decided to ask, Hayuri, have you ever heard of Izanami? What the hell's that? He doesn't seem bothered by the name. It's nothing. You can just forget about it. I'm asking you what that is! I overheard a drunk customer at Shikinjo mention it. I'd never heard it before, so I was only curious. I guess I must have heard it wrong. Not only is your head useless, but your ears are too. Surprised you haven't died already. Unfortunately for you, I plan on living a long and healthy life. Heh, exactly what a dope like you would say. Well, see ya! Kid's such a fucking asshole. Hayuri! I tried to stop him, but some customers came by and approached him. I walked to a nearby bench to watch him. Himuka's lack of confidence was one thing, but Hayuri seemed to lack concern for his life, completely. I didn't know his exact age, but he seemed to be in his mid-teens. Yet his future was bleak and full of despair. He looks like any other child. There's nothing about him that would connect him to that spring. Mid-teens? Really? I would have said maybe like 11 or 12 or something, so like pre-teens. I gave a heavy sigh. Spacey. Please, let me talk. There's something I need to tell you. I must ask you to leave here and take a carriage to Corpse Beach. I'll meet you there separately. You're like, alright. Himuka, I'm here! Where are you? Corpse Beach was as quiet as usual. If it weren't for the dark, billowing smoke, this would be a vibrant place full of beautiful flowers. Why you don't buy my headset? You was being about. Stop it. That's about you. Jerk. Oh, what a relief. You've made it. It sounded like he already knows what's going on. I didn't kill Kango or Kyura. Like, I know I threatened them, but that's it. I took Himuka's hand in mine. There's no way that someone who treats the dead with such respect would kill anyone. But everyone's out looking for you now. I know. Himuka, is there anything I can do for you? We have to give them proof that you had nothing to do with the disappearances. To be honest, I'm not sure what to do myself. All I know is that we can't leave things the way they are at the moment. Himuka, will you tell me everything you know? Don't worry, I won't share it with anyone. I know you're not the kind of person to tell a secret, but... Himuka looked down when... Suddenly, a large drop of rain fell on my head. Rain? Oh, that's me. The scattered droplets suddenly turned into a downpour, and I found myself getting drenched, even under my jacket. Is this where we get frisky? It always happens in a rainstorm, and then our clothes are wet, so we must take off our clothes, and then, we get warm with each other, and then frickin' Akaza and Riku bust in, and you're like, excuse me! It's not time for a threesome. Well, foursome at this point, actually. Wait. Alright, let's go to my place. Thank you. I took off my dripping jacket and squeezed the water out. You'd better take everything off quickly. Her face, huh? Huh? Oh, huh? Did I say something strange? No, wait. I didn't say that because I wanted to see you nude. Of course not. I'm so sorry. Why don't I turn around then? I'm fine like this, but humans can get sick if they stay wet for a long time, right? Humans? Suddenly, Tokasada's words crossed my mind. Yeah, I really think Himuka's another outsider. I mean, Tsukiyomi's always talking about humans and like how he's not human, so he might be right. Maybe I can ask him now. You really should take off. I mean, you should really dry yourself. Well, it is true I can catch a cold like this, and it'd be best if I get my clothes dry soon. I mean, that's all bullshit. I mean, you shouldn't sit in wet clothes, it's uncomfortable and gross, but you're not going to catch a cold because you got wet in the rain. I don't understand why we keep perpetuating that in games, but it's actually just convenient. You're going to catch a cold! Oh, it's just to get me naked. Right, never mind. Okay, I got it. You should dry your clothes because wet clothes are gross. Absolutely. It's happening. Okay. Well, even if he sees my underwear, I suppose it's no different from a bathing suit. He could have a fucking towel or a blanket to give you. I took off my wet blouse and skirt and hung them over a nearby chair. Why don't you move closer to the fire? You're still cold and wet, right? Then, if you don't mind... I'm sorry. I wish I had something to cover you with. There are blankets on your bed. I'm just happy to have my clothes dried. Himuka was thinking of any possible way to make me feel more comfortable, all while dutifully looking in the other direction. In contrast, I couldn't take my eyes off him and his endearing efforts to do his best. Let me bring your clothes closer to the fire. He's so kind to catch on fire. Well, I guess you have to stay here naked forever then. I wanted to do what I could to prove his innocence, but I knew so little about him. Himuka doesn't have a family register. 'Cause he's Lord Hiroko. There's no one around to eavesdrop on us. Himuka, a friend of mine told me that maybe you're an outsider. Himuka's gasp was as good as an answer. He did say he wandered on a boat for a while before he came here, so I don't know why that's a shock that we said that to him, or he's like, oh, what? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes things don't really, like, they're not doing the math right. He gave us all the hints that he was, so he shouldn't be shocked. He's like, I mean, I did tell you I was on a boat for a while before I ended up here. So, like, that kind of shows that he's an outsider. You know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't want us to know he's Lord Hiroko, if he is, you know. But, like, we didn't accuse him of that. So, after pondering to myself, I spoke to him softly. Himuka, I'm sorry if I startled you. It doesn't matter to me whether you're a human or an outsider. The friend who told me was Tokasada of the Green. Do you know him? I know him. I see him in Yomi a lot. He said he'd like to be friends with you. Huh? He said he doesn't have any outsider friends his age. That's why I wanted to ask you. I see. I'll say it again. I wouldn't change anything about you, whether you're an outsider or not. Himuka kept his head down for a while. Despite the silence, I could sense that he was feeling very confused and terribly lost. Soon, you have the right to know. But telling you everything outright seems so sudden. All this time, I've always kept it secret. Himuka's voice was grave. He didn't show any signs of trying to avoid the subject. This is where the truth comes out? Possibly? But I still want to know, like, whether he is or... I mean... It really depends on what the story he tells. But, like, he might tell us all the story, but not be like, I'm Lord Hiroko. Okay, that might come out later when he's like, I mean, I told you everything except for that little detail. It really just depends on his story, but... It's kind of like... Part of me doesn't want to know, because if he's not, it's like, aw. It kind of ruins it a little. You know what I mean? But, anyway. Understood. If that's what you wish, I'll tell you. Himuka took a step closer to me. This world was created with the concept of balance. Sun and moon, light and dark, man and woman, life and death. Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, sleeps in Ikimizu's spring on Tenyo Island. And in Shinamizu's spring on Tenyo Island lies Izanami, the goddess of the dark. You heard me speaking to Tsukiyomi last time, right? I've known Tsukiyomi for a very long time. I'm sorry if that surprised you back then. No, it's fine. Izanami's sealed away in the depths of Shinamizu's spring. If she awakens, Shinamizu's spring will overflow, and everyone on Tengu Island will die from Haku. She's been sealed away so completely, so carefully that she can never escape. But at this time, there seems to be a human who possesses Izanami's presence. Are you referring to Hayuri? Himuka quietly rubbed the skull beside him. There are 4 powerful wielders of Batsu on this island. The first is me. And next is Riku of the Blue. The fuck was that? Oh, little bird. I just heard like a little freaking noise, and it's because he's up there. He's up there in the food dish, and he likes to just, with things he doesn't want, just chuck them, and then you just hear like plinking noises. What the fuck is that noise? It's him throwing food. Anyway, next is Riku of the Blue. Himuka stopped for a moment, then looked at me. You... Himuka? I was so surprised I leaned toward him, but Himuka's expression was as calm as ever. Did you hear about that from Tsukiyomi? And the last is the Executioner. Oh, it's funny because Riku is like, I've never used my Batsu on the living, it has to be Himuka, and it's like, Riku became the Executioner, so... I mean, a lot of other people in the blue can probably use Batsu, but they're not the strong ones, but... The Executioner? These Hazushi executions. Have you ever wondered who is responsible for extracting their souls through Tamasogi? There was nothing unusual about his question. Clearly there was someone who carried out the executions, but it had never occurred to me until now. Who... I stopped as soon as I spoke. Oh my god, is Hayuri the Executioner? He's a little young for that, isn't he? Hey, the Executioner's a guy from Yomi, right? Himuka, don't tell me that... I can't say for certain because I haven't witnessed it with my own eyes. But based on power alone, I'm sure the real culprit is one of these 4. Well, it's probably the Executioner then, because I definitely don't think it was me. I doubt it was Riku. I trust Himuka, so like... I see. Of course, that means it's possible it could be Riku of the Blue. Or even you. I would never do something like that! I know. At the very least, you have no reason to do such a thing. Not one. Assuming it isn't me, and assuming it isn't Riku, and that leaves only one other person. It feels so horrible to suspect anyone. But I knew it wasn't us, so it had to be that final person. It felt like we were forcing the guilt of this crime onto a stranger. But that's true because when Riku became the Executioner in his route, so it's actually kind of brilliant that they teach you about the Executioner and kind of like Riku's route, and then all of a sudden it comes back, like, you know, now. But like the Executioner being someone that nobody knows who it is. Nobody knows that Riku's the Executioner. I mean, or do they? I can't remember, but I kind of felt like he's the Executioner. He kind of just goes off, like disappears or whatever. But like, they're like, the Executioner's a guy from Yomi, but like, do they know who? They just know he's someone, but they don't know who he is? Because like, he seemed to kind of suspect Hayuri in the very beginning, like, Hayuri's tied to Izanami. And then like, the Executioner, so you're like, are you trying to tell me that? Because I highly doubt that. I mean, that just seemed like they... What kind of world gives the douchehole like Hayuri that kind of power is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? There'd be a lot more dead people, but... Interesting. It felt like we were forcing the guilt of this crime onto a stranger. But who is it? Do you think Akaza or Rika would know? We've both met this person before. He thinks it's Hayuri. Himuka? We've met him many times. You spoke to him at Sundial Plaza not long ago. Wait. I staggered back, my hands searching behind me for something to cling to. But there was nothing, and I fell to the floor in a miserable heap. You don't mean... It's hard to believe, right? I don't want to believe he did it either. I'm even hoping that the 2 missing people will appear out of nowhere. He did it? I like how they just don't tell you, but you're like, they have to be talking about Hayuri because who else were we talking to at Sundial Plaza? The only other person we talk to is fucking Asuo, and I highly doubt it's him. But like, Hayuri absolutely would enjoy ripping the show out of people, you know what I mean? Also dangerous power for that little bastard to have, so. Yes, it really is hard to believe. Because who else were we talking to? You know what I mean? And I feel like if it's gonna be, it would be somebody with a sprite. You know what I mean? If they're gonna make anything. Because anytime, like, Nagusa was the main antagonist in Cordoba's route, and he has a sprite. You know what I mean? So, like, I want to believe he would never do such a thing. I want to believe that, too. I mean, if it's Hayuri, you want to believe it, but he did he told everyone to die, so. Oh, what's strange is that Shinamizu Spring showed no signs of change. Then again, that would be a problem. What Tsukuyomi said wasn't a lie, then. That's why I'm wondering now what to do. Huh? But Himuka said mother back then. Back then I surprised even myself. When I called him mother. Yes, I am her first child. But I was sent adrift on the ocean on a boat made of reeds, deformed and unwanted. See? Even what the you can't fool me, game! I had you pegged! I mean, only when we got into Himuka's route, but like what it no! Anyway. And then from the other world came the outsider Hiroko on a boat made of reeds. That's why he doesn't have a family register. I fucking told you! Shit! Shit! I love it! Damn it, game, I'm so proud of you! I mean, like, okay, I can't be like, I knew it from, like, a couple of parts ago. You know what I mean? But, like, it kind of made you think that, and you're like, wait. I mean, I didn't suspect it from the beginning, because Himuka was never around, but then it's like, when he was like, I've talked to Hiroko once, and you're like, are you Hiroko? Is the skull? Like, I mean, it's kind of been in my head for, like, a while in his route, so I'm just so happy right now. Like, because it's awesome! That's such a good twist! It's such a good twist that you, like, I would say you don't see it coming, but you kind of do. But it's one of those you're like, I mean, are you really? I feel like I kind of did doubt the game was going to go that way because, like, Tsukuyomi might be the person who killed Lady Amaterasu, whatever. Like, I don't know. And he carries around the doll that's supposed to be her. And, like, I don't know, there's something going on with Tsukuyomi. I don't quite know what that's going on. But, like, you have the Doma thing, which you're like, Doma's totally our fucking dad, dude. Come on. And then there's Himuka being like, Hiroko. You're like, the game cannot possibly keep giving you twists like this. But nope, it did. Like, look, the Kuroba stabbing us thing in the bad ending was not, I did not ever see that one happening. Definitely not from Kuroba, you know, but like, this, we saw coming. We did, in your route, but, like, but the game makes you kind of, you're like, yeah, you are you? But maybe, I think you are, but are you? I don't know, like, I was suspicious of it, and I'm so excited, because it's an awesome twist, and I love it. Good job, game! Good job! Ah! Fuck, I love it when there's cool twists like this. Anyway. I am here to go. All of my strength left me at once. So good, it feels so good right now. He was right. This was all too sudden. But perhaps it wasn't... Come to think of it, he had never been normal by any standards. Maybe I simply neglected it all along. You're... Lord Hiroko? I mean, it also totally, when Kyoto was like, oh, I've seen him, he's like, no, you haven't, that's blasphemy. It's like, because you're like, you have not talked to me, you bastard. Just call me Himuka. I'd rather the people not know. Besides, I do like this name. And I mean, he said he was super, I mean, everything fits, and I just love it so much, it's so good. So good! Really? Then I'll keep calling you Himuka. Good. Again, I wondered why every so often I saw that sad smile on his face. I know I'm not imagining things, but I didn't know how to ask him what it meant. There's much more to it, but if I tell you everything at once, it'll only get confusing. I suppose you're right, but you're really Lord Hiruko? It looks like your clothes are about to dry. I mean, he did run up to the surface to look at the femur bridge. Also, what the fuck is the femur bridge, Himuka? That's about the only thing about your character that I just don't trust. Why? I want femur bridge. What the fuck? Why? Unless you're like, maybe it's a homing beacon to get home to my alien ancestors. I don't know, like... Why would you do something so, like, ostentatiously kind of douchey? I'm curious about that. Please tell me you have an answer for this aside from, like, it's a monument to me. I think that was, like, the nail in the Himuka's Hiruko coffin when he came running back down. Well, the Amanomi Hashira's okay. That's what you went to check up on? And she's like, yeah, because a lot of people are working on it. No, he went to check to make sure the shrine to him is not dead. Like, come on. That's amazing. That's hilarious. Because Himuka doesn't seem like the type of person who's like, build a shiny shrine gate to me out of people's dead bodies. Like, he doesn't kind of seem like that person, so I appreciate it even more because it's fucking weird. Anyway. Oh, so good. If that's true, then that means he must have spoken with Doma before. Wait a minute. If he's Lord Hiruko, then he's the one who created this island? And don't worry about it. But even though I look young, I'm much, much older than you. Huh. If that's true, then exactly how old is Lord Himuka? He was sent away by his mother, Izanami, which means he came from beyond the ocean? But his mother is trapped under Shinami. That doesn't... See, there's some weird things that are like, explain this. Which I don't think we're going to get all those answers, but I tried my best to accept what I just heard, but my mind still couldn't catch up. But then, why would Izanami be sleeping in Shinamizu Spring down in Yomi? The more I thought about it, the more questions I had. Okay, you and me both. Also, if you're Hiruko and you made this island and we're in your route now, it's weird that then Akaza is the end-all be-all route. It's not like, oh, you could do either one. It's, you have to do this one. Akaza is literally canon boyfriend, so what the fuck could possibly come out in his route? Whatever Tsukuyomi's hiding, but, you know? I want to ask him more, but he's right. I don't think I can wrap my mind around it all now, which is good. We also have like half the route to go, so we gotta learn more stuff as we go. I took a long, deep breath. Himuka is Lord Hiruko. That's all I need to know for now. I'm so glad we found that out, though. Like, oh, it's so good. I'm sorry. I know it's a lot to take in, but I'm not lying to you at all. I believe you. Like, don't worry about it. No, I believe you. Hold on. Oh, my thing. Oh, fuck, my guide won't scroll up. Oh, son of a bitch, come on. Because it turned itself... Oh, fuck. It won't move. It's my thing is frozen. Hold on. I'm pretty sure that's the right answer, but like, hello? What the fuck? Come on, tablet. My tablet freezes sometimes. All the time. Oh, it's really frozen. I can't even switch tabs. What the hell? What is happening here? Okay. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I don't know. I had to... Yes, I believe you was the right answer. I had to, like, shut it off and turn it back. Well, not, like, shut it off, but, like, lock it and come back. Because for some reason, it went dark, and I tapped it, and then it just wouldn't move, which is just weird. Anyway, I believe you. You don't have to rush or anything, but I'd love to hear more next time. Huh? Yes, of course. I could tell he was in low spirits. But I was sent adrift on the ocean on a boat made of reeds. Deformed and unwanted. Why was you deformed? You're so precious. Is that why Himuka's always looking down on himself? I pushed that possibility to the back of my mind. I can't just tell him to forget about it after all this time. What needs to be done first is... Himuka, I have an idea. I know I said earlier that I wouldn't tell anyone, but let me make one correction. Why don't we tell Akaza and Kuroba so we can ask for their help? Huh? I don't want to doubt him, but... We can't just leave Hayuri alone out there, right? Right. Assuming he really... Afraid to say more, I stopped. I wouldn't believe it. Not yet. To be honest, I don't want to believe it's him. I'm just hoping it's a coincidence and that the missing two are found somewhere. And I also don't want to believe that such a young child could be the executioner. That would be too cruel. Yes, you're right. But if they're not found, then the suspicions surrounding them will only grow. Without the truth, it'll never end. I think it'd be best if we could all work together to resolve this as soon as possible. But don't worry, you can trust Akaza. I know, right? Because Akaza's best boy. Do you love that man? Huh? Not at all. Not even close. But we should let him know regardless. Why don't we go and see him now? Now? Himuka stared at me quietly. I wondered why he looked so sad. Or we could just stay here and cuddle. If you're not comfortable in a crowded place like the Kotowari, I can go and talk to him first. No. Huh? Himuka suddenly grabbed my clothes and quickly ran for the door. Huh? Himuka! Where are you going? Don't leave here. Huh? What? Himuka! I don't want you to go outside. Alright, but, what are you going to do with my blouse and skirt? You're safe here, so don't go out. Himuka? Wait! Despite my pleas, he quickly slammed the door behind him. Did he just lock me in here? I would have preferred you stayed in here with me. It won't budge. I took a few deep breaths and gently knocked on the door. Himuka, you're just playing around, right? I'm not playing. I took another deep breath. Himuka, I'm not angry, so please open the door. I'm going to go and see what Hayuri is doing, so you stay there. I'd be like, please, I don't want to be alone. Himuka! Himuka, open the door! I promise I won't hate you. I'm not angry. You can hate me all you want. Just stay there. If my intuition is right, you're his next target. Huh? Nothing defiled is able to enter this place, so for the time being, you should be safe. Defiled? I looked at the door again and realized there was no keyhole anywhere. It didn't seem as though there was anything blocking the door from the outside either. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, but you really shouldn't go near that boy anymore. Himuka, you're just worried about me, right? I'm sure there are other ways to keep me safe. Now, the heavenly spirit is a bird without feathers, unable to take flight, exposed. What did he just say? I'll be going now. Himuka, wait! Please! You have to listen to me! It's no use. I looked around the house. I know. I should be able to escape from the window. She's just running around in her underwear. It's so funny. Huh? I can't open it. But why? It was like there was something barring the shutters. No matter how hard I tried, the window remained shut. But Himuka, I have to pee. Where's your bathroom? There really is no use. What an impossible situation. And what happens if we get cold? We're sitting here naked. I gave up on trying to escape and sat down on the pelt rug. If my intuition is right, you're his next target. I mean, he did threaten me multiple times. Himuka, I know there's a lot happening right now, but couldn't you have explained things a little more? Despite my situation, I knew he wasn't doing this out of malice, so I wasn't angry or sad at all. I mean, the title of this chapter was Stay Beside Me, and he just abandoned me. So, that's right, Daifuku! He had been with me ever since that night he wandered into the manor. I was sure he'd be worried if I didn't return. As for Doma, maybe he'll feel slightly uneasy. I knew it was wrong to think it, but I wouldn't mind worrying him, even if it was only a little. I mean, okay. It's kind of funny. I mean, I feel bad, but I wouldn't mind if Doma was worried. I mean, the thing is like, in a situation like this, you're like, you don't want to worry the people that care about you, or you're like your parents. Obviously, like Doma, she doesn't know he's, whatever. We don't know for a fact either, but I'm like 98% sure. Like 99%. Okay? Like, I am fully on the Doma's our daddy train, but like... So, like, in this situation, you're kidnapped, you're like, I don't want to worry my parents, but I want them to be worried, because then if they're worried, they'll maybe come out and try to find me, and I want to be found. So, yes, in this situation, I'm fully on board with you, like, I don't want Doma to worry, but I want him to worry so that he can possibly find me. Like, I'll feel guilty that he was stressed out and worried. You don't want them to worry when there's nothing to worry about. Like, I don't want my parents to worry every moment of the day or just because I'm an hour late. Like, all the times I would work late if my mom was out of town and, like, I wouldn't call home and say I was working, like, when I lived with my parents, you know, I wouldn't call home and tell them, like, I was working late because, like, my dad used to go to bed so early because he'd get up at the ass crack of dawn to go to work. So I'd be like, I work a little late, and then I'd go home, and my dad would be like, oh, I was worried. And I was like, oh my God. And then I felt so guilty because he was waiting to make sure I got home safe. And I was like, oh, I didn't call because I figured you were in bed and I didn't want to call if you were sleeping. No, I was going to wait up till you got home. And it's like, so like, I mean, he wasn't mad at me, but it was like, I just felt bad because I made my dad worry because I wasn't home. I was home an hour later than I was supposed to be because I worked late and I didn't call. You know what I mean? Like, so in those cases, you're like, I don't want my dad to worry. Well, obviously my dad's gone now, but like, I wouldn't want my parents or anyone to worry because I was working late and there's no need for them to worry. But absolutely, if I'm like, I'm on my way home and 3 hours later I'm not home, yeah, please worry, I might be dead. Like, so in this case, we're kind of kidnapped, so making Doma worry, it's fine. It's fine. I'm behind you. It's okay to make him worry in this case. It was my childish attempt at revenge. Well, that's rude, but I still have my deliveries tomorrow. It's not budging at all. I guess all I can do is wait for Himuka to come back. I let out a sigh, then looked around the house again. So Himuka is Lord Hiroko. Lord Hiroko? I have met Hiroko before, so I'll give him this letter. That was a terrible thing to say back then. I was speaking ill of Lord Hiroko, not knowing it was actually Himuka. Then I showed him that letter. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Himuka. I mean... Did we say anything bad about the douche shrine gate? We were like, Femur Bridge is a little fucking pompous, don't you think? And he's like, oh. I love you a lot, really. But I can't be your husband. I'm not fit to be your mating partner. And I'm curious as to why he thinks that. Is it because his mother abandoned him? You know? Did he say that because he's Lord Hiroko? But he's the most respected existence on this island. Or is it because he's an outsider? In addition to my anxiety, I was beginning to feel a hopeless sorrow. Things would be much easier if he simply told me that he hated me. He can't be my husband. As I spoke the words aloud, I felt an ache in my heart. All at once, my last remaining strength left. He can't... I wrapped myself in the fur and lay on the floor in silence. Aww. Sweetest fruit. But there was no staying beside anybody in that chapter! You know what I mean? We were left in our underwear. Himuka? I woke with a start and went to try the door again. It still won't open. After waiting so long for Himuka to return, I finally dozed off. I wondered when he would knock on the door or when I would hear his voice again. I wonder if he slept outside. Could he still be following Hayuri? Stomach growling. Unbelievable. I guess I can't fight my hunger. Then again, after what happened yesterday, I haven't had a bite to eat. I know, I still have the Sugiura in my bag. I never thought these would save the day. I broke open the first Sugiura. We have both met this person before. You spoke to him at Sundial Plaza not long ago. Should we not eat these? I felt a lot calmer now that night had passed. I feel like we shouldn't trust the Sugiura from Hayuri. But whether I believed it all was another story. Himuka's Lord Hirako. Hayuri is the executioner? That's the most unbelievable part of this whole game so far. I'd never heard of him having the power of Batsu. He was just a newspaper vendor who sold Sugiura for a living. The same boy who insulted me every time we met. The one who treated Asawa like his own brother. And that tremor, it occurred just as the child yelled. I'm certain he's connected to Izanami. Hayuri, was it you who caused the earthquake? It all seemed too far-fetched to believe. The same unpleasant feeling of doubt crept upon me again. But okay, so I'm curious, though. If he's the executioner, then, like, when Riku, like, became the executioner, what happened to Hayuri, then? In Riku's bad ending, you know what I mean? What happens to the old executioner when we decide there's a new one? Kind of bodes that, like, Hayuri was retired, and by retired I mean murdered. Like, I'm just saying. Feeling worse than before. I'm sorry. Ugh. I just breathed and spit. I finished the Sugiura and lay on the rug again. Himuka, please come back soon. Being alone here is so boring and lonely. If only there was a way I could let Daifuku know that I'm safe. Suddenly I heard someone behind the door. Himuka? Himuka came in, then immediately blushed and looked away. I'm sorry. Your clothes. I couldn't help but chuckle at the situation. He was the one who took my clothes away, yet here he was so flustered. Himuka, where have you been? I was following him. He didn't step outside, at least not last night. I see. I'm sorry I locked you inside. But I hope you understand. He looked so sad. He looked so lonely. How could I just leave him be? Himuka, listen to me. I understand that you want to keep me safe, but I can't stay in here forever. Meanwhile, FYI, okay, this just shows. I don't like Doma. He's a jerk. He has kept me caged and imprisoned, and he's so mean to me. Doors were always unlocked. You could go wherever the fuck you want. Himuka, sweetie, you can't get me locked in here. I'm not mad at you, though. He actually imprisoned you. I'm just saying. Girl's got her priorities all fucked up. But, like, I mean, seriously. You're in love with Himuka, so when he locks you up, you're like, I understand why you did it, but you can't do that. So, like, but you're not going to be mad at him for doing it. But you're so mad at Doma for actually letting you freely do whatever the fuck you want. But you kept yourself imprisoned, but yet you just said that Doma doesn't. Just wanna throw that out there. Girl's fucking crazy. Like, I mean, I'm not mad at what Himuka did because we know why he did it. You know what I mean? He was trying to protect us, but because he probably knows damn well that if Hayuri was coming after us with Batsu, we would never use Batsu on him and be like, nah, fuck this shit, even though we could. We'd be like, oh no, Hayuri, we'll trust that you'll be nice. Doubt it. We'll trust that you'll have a change of heart because we're a little naive, but... So I absolutely am not mad at Himuka, but I just find it funny that she's mad at Doma for, like, keeping her caged, despite the fact that she never was, ever, in that situation. I never introduced him to you, but I have a pet mouse at the manor. He and I are really close, and if I stay out for too long, he might get sick from loneliness. I have my deliveries to do, and I'll need to dance on stage again at some point. So please, can I have my clothes back? No. I don't want you to go away. This is borderline like almost putting me in a cage, but he's just being nicer about it. But also, you know, sometimes, the first time it happened to us, it was like, the fuck is this shit? And afterward, it's like, no, sure, open it. Just give me a second, I'll climb in there. Can I have a nice pillow? Do you got a book? Okay, cool. Like, sometimes it happens, and I'm okay with it now, because, you know, these games have literally twisted me. I don't know what's wrong, but... He spoke with such loneliness, I couldn't even be upset. If only I could just split my body in two. And again, if I did, I'd probably attract even more danger. Wait a minute, Himuka. You didn't explain why I'd be the next target. What led you to that conclusion? There has to be something going on that I'm not aware of. Himuka's gaze wandered around the room, but then he nodded as if he had given up. All right, I'll explain. But some of it may be my imagination. I don't really want to believe it. I nodded and waited for him to continue. Firstly, like I said yesterday, there's no proof that he's involved in the disappearances of those two who have gone missing. I can't be sure about this either, but perhaps they were just threats. Or maybe it was to acquire show. The show that are formed from human souls. They possess enough power to feed the sun and keep it shining. The spark of life, I guess you could call it. And the person with the most brilliant and powerful soul in this world is you. Me? You possess the purest color of white, born from the tears of the goddess Amaterasu. Huh? I wasn't sure what to say. Everything I had heard until now seemed like a fairy tale. I mean, I can't imagine Himuka lying to me, but it's hard to just accept everything I hear as fact. I've never heard that before. You don't need to believe me, but let me continue with the assumption that it's true. Izanami's the goddess of the dark, so she detests the light and all things pure, which means that my existence as a white is a nuisance to her. Right. The loss of the white in this world means that the sun will disappear from the skies. You know, that's actually kind of interesting because, like, she's threatened and I'm like, I'll off myself and then the sun will disappear. And everyone's like, oh, and it's like Izanami. It's like, yeah. Like, it's actually kind of funny because it's not that, you're like, it doesn't really seem that far-fetched. I mean, okay, not because the whole story's, like, weird and we're in a strange alternate universe and whatever. But I mean, like, when you get to this point and you're like, really, why does this never come? No, actually, it's come up the whole time. In the whole game, the whole point has been, like, you have to keep the white bloodlines to keep the sun in the sky, and that's been the whole thing. And then underlying has been this, like, Izanami plotline where they're just, like, slinking along underneath, like, just waiting for the right time to be like, it's all been me trying to kill you this whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it's got the simple plot of, like, oh, girl trying to find husband to have babies and continue her bloodline. But the underlying is, if you don't, then Izanami takes over. Oh! Well, there you go. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of almost been, like, the underlying plot the whole time. But the fluffiness is just me looking for my soulmate to prevent the creeping darkness. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of really been there the whole time. It's just never really been talked about or stated. So, okay. I see what you're doing here. And I mean, Izanami's kind of been mentioned and like, oh, if we don't carry on the white bloodline and we die, then the sun dies with us and all that stuff. And it's like, it was actually a really good plot line underneath there. We were just waiting for it to come out and here it is. It was just creeping along in the tunnel until, nope, the tunnel's on the surface. Here we go. So, without the sun, all that will remain is darkness. When that happens, the waters from the spring will overflow and kill everyone with Haku. That's horrible! We can't let that happen! My voice came out in shout. We can't have the sun disappear! It'd be devastating! To my mother, to Lady Amaterasu, everyone! And that's why I said you were in danger. I couldn't refute what he was telling me now. You're the most precious of all in this world. And then you're like, you created this world, though. He said something like that to me before. But I assumed he said that to me because I was Olympia. Does that make sense? The sudden earthquake down in Yomi, Doma and Lord Jigen appearing with a great sense of urgency, the two missing people... assuming what you said is true, what are you planning to do, Himuka? That's something I'm still unsure of. I believe that child... Ayuri is connected in some way to Izanami, but there was nothing unusual about Shinamizu's spring. So honestly, I don't know what to do. I see what you mean. What you doing, Loudbird? But this time, I promise I'll protect you. Huh? I mean, you see, I failed at it before. Is he referring to that time with Enji? I'll never, ever let anyone defile you. Are you saying that because we've been defiled technically in all the other routes with our husbands? There are husbands, though. Although, then what Doma said is really weird, like, oh, if you don't find your soulmate, you just keep trying. It's like, are you talking about all the alternate paths that we've gone through, Doma? Is this... Holy shit. Are we to believe that all the alternate reality versions exist and you know about them? Oh my god. I don't think I can go that in depth with this game, like, then my brain would break, but... Suddenly, Himuka's eyes filled with an unusual heat. The mysterious sparkle of ashen silver was captivating. Himuka? Thank you for saying that, but I don't know what I'd do if something bad happened to you. Is that so surprising? Did you think I was some kind of heartless person? Not at all. You're very, very kind. That's right. You must be hungry. Humans need to eat, and you like eating delicious food, right? But the food stands weren't open, so... Here. Himuka took out some kind of fruit from his pocket. I found it nearby. It's a passion fruit. Would you like some? So that's what grows from passion flowers. I've seen them in bloom at Sundial Plaza, but this is the first time I've actually seen the fruit. And the ones at the plaza don't bear much fruit, but at the beach, they're really sweet and delicious. Then, if you don't mind... Just a second. Himuka picked up a knife from the shelf and cut the fruit in half. Oh my god. Oh my... Hello, game! You don't need to give us a full up-and-down body shot of her in her undies. But they really do actually look like a bikini. But, like, look at the straps on those. Jesus. It's so funny because, in this case, he actually does look, like, sweet and adorable and innocent. You know? Like, at least in Tokusata's, they were like... You were like, Tokasata? What? Like, you look nothing like your little baby self in your sprite. In this one, you're like, no, Himuka looks wide-eyed and innocent. It's gonna be really weird. Look, Himuka keeps saying he won't let anyone defile us, and you're like, does that include you? Because, like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about the sex scene in this, if there is one, if Himuka looks, like, so adorable. It's like, it's not gonna work. But anyway. Here. Himuka happily scooped some of the yellow jelly with his finger and brought it close to my mouth. Oh, he's gonna feed us. That's... Oh, okay. What the... Huh? What's the matter? His innocent question was only making things difficult. He's all innocent and you're like, it's a little sexy, don't you think? And he's like, what? This was just a well-intentioned gesture, is it? Himuka's smile was so bright and carefree. This is gonna be embarrassing. This part's gonna go on for a while, but... Bracing myself as if I were about to jump into a whirlpool, I slowly licked the fruit off his finger. Seeing Himuka tremble, I quickly moved back. Yeah, because then he just realized how freaking, like, sexual that seemed. Like, it doesn't have to be, but it was a little, you know, intimate. A little erotic. No. It's not that I don't want to. Himuka slowly took another scoop from the fruit with a confused look on his face. Here. And now he's all blushing. It's cute. We're both blushing. Huh? For you. I slowly opened my mouth, then closed it softly around his finger. Oh. The tartness spread across my tongue. They're just making this, like... They're like, oh. We're getting, like, sexy with fruit here. Like, I always eat like this. Have someone feed you, or feed someone? I see. Without a second thought, I scooped some fruit with my own finger. Oh, now we're gonna feed him, huh? And... Here, for you, Himuka. Huh? You don't want it? Himuka's lips quivered. This is so much more, like, awkward than any of the sex scenes we've had to read, I'm just saying. His silver eyes were looking straight at me. I'll have some. Himuka's cool, soft tongue gently licked my fingertip. The sensation I felt on the boat before rushed back to me. I felt a deep ache from within my body. The urge to embrace him grew stronger with each passing second. It's good. And this passion fruit is much sweeter than before. Himuka pressed his lips to my finger again. But the passion fruit was already gone. And this is your finger. Captain Obvious. And this is your body heat. Himuka gently caressed my finger with his lips. And this is you. No one had ever looked at me so intensely. I felt too exhilarated to be embarrassed now. Spacey, all this is you. Himuka's face slowly approached mine. I'm so sorry. What was I? Himuka jumped back, and his body began to shake as if he was in shock. Because I was like, you can't have a kiss moment without a kiss CG, so, yeah. What am I? I should be the one shocked. It's all right. The passion fruit was delicious. Yes. He didn't say anything more. Himuka slowly moved away and avoided looking at me. Am I disappointed? I couldn't help it. But that moment he touched me, I wanted him to touch me even more. And I wanted to touch him, too. Are you still hungry? Should I get more fruit? Huh? Suddenly, nothing else mattered. All I needed was to stay here with him forever, eating that sweet fruit. Oh, girl's crazy now. But it's impossible. Himuka, let's continue our conversation from earlier. I have to do my deliveries too, so... Please give me my clothes! Akaza's gonna think something weird! Hey, Himuka, is she here? If she isn't, do you know where I can find her? Himuka looked between me and the door several times. Himuka, if you're here, answer me. Why now? Himuka mumbled something very softly, but I couldn't hear what he said. Hey, are you there? Himuka, you better get it. If you don't answer him now, things may get worse with people suspecting you again. All right. Himuka walked weakly to the door. Also, we don't have her clothes. I'm not mad at this part going so far over. Oh my god. Himuka, you're here. And do you know where? Imagine because he walked in and he's like, why are you fucking naked? He's like, I'm just gonna leave. Have I interrupted something? Poor Akaza. He's like, the fuck did I just walk in on? Huh? Ah! I crouched down and hid my body with my arms as much as I could. No, it's not what you think. Akaza's like, if Kurobo's here, he'd be like, so you weren't gonna have sex? No? Oh. Okay, it really isn't what I think. I'm so sorry, Akaza. I'm sorry for worrying you. I'm fine, really. As long as you're safe. Himuka, can I please have my clothes back now? Akaza's like, wait, did he take your clothes? Yes. Why? So she wouldn't leave? I'm just gonna get going. I was so embarrassed that I couldn't help but scream. But then I suddenly realized my mistake. Her clothes? Hey, Himuka, what's going on here? Yosuga sent a messenger saying that she hadn't come to check her letterbox today. And I remembered Riku mentioning that he saw her around this area. Akaza, it's not what you think! Don't tell me. You took her clothes and kept her locked in here. It's exactly what you think! You're right. I locked her in here. I love it. We're like, it's not what you think. You took her clothes and kept her locked in here. Oh, exactly. God damn, Akaza's really fucking smart. Himuka? Is that the truth? Do you realize the severity of what you've done? What you've done? Wow. Akaza's voice was so formidable that it felt like he would draw his katana at any moment. Himuka in turn was glaring at Akaza coldly. Himuka? How dare you? How dare you, Red? You're of the cursed blood, and the last man who should ever be near her. What? Your red hair and eyes, the red in your blood. How dare you? You should be the one to disappear from this world. The air around us froze. And I'm going to stop here and cut you off, because this part's going to go on for a while. And we're already 10 minutes over, so I'm going to cock block us all here. The air around us froze, and then... Like, because Akaza doesn't know he's here to go, but at the same time, he's like, the fuck are you doing? Keeping him... I mean, Akaza's not wrong here. Himuka's absolutely... I understand why Himuka kept us locked up, but he's still wrong for having done that. Even if he did it for the right reasons, Akaza's not wrong here for being like, dude, Himuka, what the fuck? Like, so Himuka should be like, look, I just was trying to protect her. And then we'd be like, I'm not mad about it, Akaza, let's just... And then, but like, Himuka's getting crazy. Himuka's a little fucking psycho. I kind of like it, though, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, we're gonna continue in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.